want to be here.
Yeah.
He was here. If you were here, you would have no control. Here, his wrist took everything. Yeah. God damn. You like this? Hotep and Grift.
Kanye on that drum. All right, so welcome back to Sunny's Corner, everybody. How you doing, sis? Welcome to the show.
Fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming through. If it seems like, oh, well, she's not even giving these people intros. No, I don't give them intros. I let them speak for them damn selves.
I thought my plight in life was about saving the world until I realized I didn't have the skills or the tools to save myself.
Yep. If you're not activating now, then what are you doing? Wasting my time, wasting your time. So let's go. Until next week.
Welcome. Her name is Kim Clayson. Clap it up for Kim Clayson. I love it. Kim Clayson, ladies and gentlemen. There she is.
It does look good. We are going to be flipping seats. Like I said, a lot of the states did go through redistricting. Maryland was one of them, Florida, New Jersey. So we'll be flipping a lot of seats in really good areas.
Sonny Johnson.
One, boom. Hotep Jesus.
Of all the Jesuses I know, he's the Hotepiest. Social scientist and YouTube host, Hotep Jesus.
How the fuck do you get a name like Hotep Jesus?
The one and only Hotep Jesus.
Ryan Sharp, better known to the world as Hotep Jesus.
Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Somebody said, what do you think you are, some kind of Hotep Jesus? Ooh,
And
that's
I was
good.
Just like, ooh, that's sexy. Yes, I do think I'm Hotep Jesus.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus.
Oh, this a real Hotep brother.
What's up, people? We here for a Saturday Grift. We got special guest, Dr. Tanei Ricks, PhD, in the house.
What's good, family? How y'all feeling?
Tanei, what's up, baby?
I'm chilling, man. You know, I was on the ropes yesterday. I was like, yo, hold up. I got to come on tomorrow, son. I don't know what the hell going on with my sinuses, bro.
Nah,
but I'm better. We here.
I can't let you come on here sick and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Which is ironic, right? Because what we talking about today.
Exactly.
So like, damn.
Exactly. But I'm glad you was able to do the Saturday Grift with me. You know, Saturday Grift is usually a little bit harder. You know, we kind of want to relax and shit. I'm gonna be studying all day. Then I gotta go shopping. I gotta go shopping for HotepCon. You did your shopping for HotepCon yet?
Me too. No, yeah. You didn't send me the flight information, all that stuff yet, but yeah, like I gotta go shopping.
I ain't sent it to you yet?
Not yet.
Oh shit. It's in one of these spreadsheets somewhere. I got you though.
You see how they be doing me, chat? They be bringing me on. They be you know, talking me up and shit, and then they just be treating me like little red stepchild. I ain't got none of my info yet.
Damn. All right, I'm gonna get you your flight info, and when you get to the airport, it's gonna be a little Asian or Arab dude with his. He's gonna hold your name up on a card and shit, let you know he your transportation.
All right, bet.
So, looking forward to HotepCon. I want to do a little bit of prep for HotepCon. One of the things that we wanted to talk about was germ theory. I don't want to spill all the beans here today on the stream about germ theory, but do want to have a quick look over on the topic, especially as it pertains to COVID-19. Now, I have here a description of germ theory. You can tell me if this is wrong. I got this from Britannica.com. It says germ theory in medicine, the theory that certain diseases are caused by the invasion of the body by microorganisms, organisms too small to be seen through a microscope. The French chemist and microbiologist Louis Pasteur, the English surgeon Joseph Lister, and the German physician Robert Koch are given much of the credit for the development and acceptance of the theory. Do you believe in germ theory, Tanei?
So I don't necessarily believe in germ theory as a strict cause for pathology, but I do believe that we have some diseases because these quote unquote germs are there, right? So with all these diseases and all these theories and things, there are parts of truth in all of them. And when you think about germ theory specifically, so the one thing that lets you know that germ theory is not 100% correct is that one person can be completely healthy, walk into a room full of sick people, and then they can walk out and not be sick. So if the germs are the things that are actually causing the disease, that are causing you to be sick, then anytime you walk into an area or you come into contact with whatever these germs are, you should get sick, right? But that doesn't happen. There has to be specific conditions that allow these germs to proliferate. And that is where we really have to draw the distinction is the proliferation part, right? So if things are not allowed to proliferate, you're not going to see the effects of them, period. We have millions, trillions of microbes in our body, in our digestive tract. Matter of fact, those are the things that regulate a lot of the neurochemicals that are produced in our digestive tract. They drive a lot of the things that we eat, and they send off these signals that tell other places and other things in your body how to respond, right? So without these microorganisms, we're more them than we are us, right? And that's been proven plenty of times throughout the scientific literature. So how is it that one day you have this overgrowth of candida in your digestive tract that, you start to now have all these weird food cravings, or you start to exhibit some kind of sickness, quote unquote. So the microbes are already there. But what is giving them an opportunity to proliferate or overproduce, right? And that's the terrain. That's where the terrain theory comes in, where it's not necessarily the microbe that is causing the sickness. It's the terrain that is around the microbe that is allowing it to proliferate. And that is the thing that people have to make the distinction about, is that you can come into contact with something, and we do come into contact with things every day. Bacteria, viruses, fungi, all these things. We come into contact with these things all the time, and we don't always get sick. So you have to consider that where the microbe is trying to take root, it's not a suitable terrain for it to do so, because if it were, then you would see these symptoms of over-proliferation, right? Because all these things are coexisting with your body on some level. So that means that there's some level of commensalism. So if you have a level of commensalism, as long as that balance is maintained, you're not going to see the effects of this over-proliferation. Now, when you talk about germs and the chemical byproducts that they let out, and this is the interesting part about germ theory and talking about microbes in general, is that sometimes microorganisms will mask themselves from your immune system. So I'm a part of this consortium called the UT Fungal Pathogens Group, and we actually just had a retreat a couple weeks ago. People were presenting their research and all these different things. And one of the things that a lot of people key on with fungal pathogens themselves is looking at how sugars mask these microbes from your immune system. So you have these things called glycans that are made out of these long chains of glucose, and they're also connected to glycogen. So glycogen is just another storage form of glucose. But one of the things that's really interesting about fungal pathogens, specifically when you talk about like species of Candida, Aspergillus, Cryptococcus, the common pathogenic fungi that you hear about in hospital settings or people that are immunocompromised. A lot of these microorganisms have this sugar masking system that masks these different branch points that your immune system can recognize. And when your immune system recognizes it, it sees it as something foreign, and then your immune system starts to attack it. So these microbes on a level, they are trying to survive themselves. So it's not just strictly, oh, this microbe is here because there's something that it needs to clean up. It's like, no, this microbe is trying to survive. Like, it has found a terrain that is suitable for it to survive. And because it wants to continue to proliferate in that area, because you have minerals, building blocks, aminos, carbohydrates, things like that, the terrain for it is suitable to take up hold there. Once it takes up hold there, it doesn't want to get kicked out, right? Because once it gets kicked out, then it dies, right? Everything on the planet is trying to survive. So this thing is just happening to try to survive inside of your body. But in order for it to do that, it also has to overcome whatever the environmental protections are. In our case, it's our immune system. And when you have these things, that's why they talk a lot about biofilms. So a lot of these organisms don't exist as like, pockets or just like one or two microorganisms living in one space. They exist as these large colonies, right? And they let off these biofilms so that they're more resistant to the things that are around them. And they do that, of course, because again, they're trying to survive. And within that survival, they're trying to proliferate, they're trying to grow. So when they grow in that space, they overgrow in that space. Now it starts to take nutrients, building blocks from the other cells that are around it. So those cells continue to get weakened, those cells continue to die. However, the biofilm is like an intelligent masking system, or it's almost like a shield from the immune system so that these things cannot be broken up easily, can't be killed easily, so they can continue to proliferate. So there is truth in both theories, right? Where you can't get sick without there being something there making you sick, but you're also not going to get sick if the conditions are not right for that microbe to grow. They're just going to pass through your immune system, or your immune system is just going to be able to clear it on its own. So there's truth in both sides of it. It's not strictly one, it's not strictly the other. But if I were to say there's one thing to key on more importantly, it's definitely the terrain, right? Because if the terrain is not suitable, then it's not going to grow anyway, and you just never have to worry about it. So people should worry more about the terrain part of it more than you should worry about the germ part of it. The part where the germ aspect does become important, though, is when you have situations with people that are immunocompromised. So like I said, we did this retreat, and a lot of the research was presented in people that were immunocompromised, people that have things like HIV, which, we can go into that because there are a lot of, you know what that look for. So like we can go into that, but people that have underperforming immune systems, right? Those tend to be the people that
sickle cell will be one of those.
Sickle cell is
that's
a
when your
genetic trait.
Attacks yourself or something like that, right?
It does. So it doesn't necessarily attack itself. So a lot of people think it's an adaptational trait to malaria, because people that have sickle cells, it disrupts the malarial life cycle, so that the parasite never fully matures. So if the parasite can't fully mature, then you don't get malaria. But when you have two people that have sickle cell trait, you can have full-on sickle cell anemia. And anemia is just a disease of the blood, right? And it just tells you what kind of disease of the blood you have. You have a disease of the blood where your blood can't carry oxygen optimally because the cells are like a sickle. So, but at its base, if you treat the anemia, then you're fine. So sickle cell is more of a genetic thing where it was meant to be protective for people in populations that have malaria.
I got you.
But now that you're in an environment where you don't really have to deal with that, two people with sickle cell trait come together, they can have an offspring that has sickle cell anemia. And when that happens, if you don't have the correct nutrients, you don't have the correct oxygen saturation, then the cells change shape. Also, your body makes these cells and they don't make enough of the cells. So essentially what happens is, if your body can't produce, your body just produces a number of red blood cells indiscriminately, right? And sometimes what happens with people with sickle cell anemia is that they don't make a lot of red blood cells. So the number of faulty cells is higher than the number of normal cells. So you also have these cells that will rupture at a higher rate than a normal cell will. And when that happens, now you're deficient in red blood cells inside of your body. And this is where your episodes come from. If there were a way for your body to churn out more red blood cells, you would have, on average, a higher number of functioning red blood cells than you would of anemic blood cells or sickle cells. And then that's how you would kind of mitigate some of the effect on just a strictly physical level, right? And if you look at a lot of the treatment plans for people that have sickle cell anemia, a lot of it has to do with diet, a lot of it has to do with the correct micronutrients that you're getting, because you have to have that constant turnover of red blood cells, because when you have the sickle cells, they rupture so easily that you end up being depleted in red blood cells, which is where all your episodes come from. So it's a little bit different, where it's not a germ that is involved in it. It's just strictly genetic.
Got you. Okay. So you said you were on a retreat, and what happened?
So a lot of the people that were presenting their research, it was children that are immunocompromised, children that have cancer, children that have HIV, children that have like these rare blood disorders. and these people are already immunocompromised to begin with. So in this case, these fungi that normally wouldn't affect us, they affect these children, and these children have, life-threatening side effects because they have life-threatening mycoses because of this. So this is where I say that it's not just strictly germ theory. It's not just strictly terrain theory, because you have some people who unfortunately just have the terrain available for these germs to proliferate. And when that happens, what do we do for them? We can't just say, oh, well, tough shit, this kid has to die because, they have a bad immune system. So in that way, but it is interesting to note that without that compromisation, it's something that we don't have to worry about. So that's why I say there's a little bit of truth in both of them, where without these foreign invaders, you wouldn't have to worry about these conditions. But when the conditions are available for them to proliferate and for them to take over a certain area, they will do so because they're trying to survive. And unfortunately, that happens in people that are immunocompromised. And a lot of times when we're talking about like childhood interventions, these are children that have already battled some kind of infection before that has left them with a weakened immune system, and now they're susceptible to these other things that are in the environment.
Why do you keep calling it fungi?
That's what they are.
Really, so the germs that are getting our body, that's fungus? That's a
some
fungus.
of them are. Some of them are fungi, some of them are bacteria, some of them are viruses.
Oh, okay. So, but majority of them you would consider fungi?
I don't know if I would consider a majority of them, because we have a lot of bacteria too. Right. I was specifically talking about the fungal pathogens because of the retreat that we were talking about. So we were only talking about fungal pathogens. That we weren't talking about bacterial ones. There are some fungal infections that do work in tandem with bacterial infections. So like Candida and E. coli, there's been some evidence that's shown that like when one overgrows, it kind of influences the growth of the other one. So you kind of got double trouble there. So all these microbes on some level are working with each other, and they're also working with you too. It just depends on whether or not the conditions are there for them to overgrow.
Okay. I'm going to save some of these other questions I have for HotepCon. Let's jump to a hypothetical situation. So Sam Harris was talking about sending in the Gestapo to force vaccinate people, et cetera, assuming there was a disease that was super deadly. What's the likelihood of us running into a virus that is super deadly, that is organic and not man-made?
In nature, low, very low. Because
in nature, very low?
Because you have to think about the phenotype, right? So if you have a phenotype of a virus that selects for death, you're not going to have a lot of hosts bringing it around, right? Because they're going to die. So if you find something that's super deadly in nature, chances are it's not going to spread very far because you don't have enough hosts to carry it. And when that happens, then that evolutionary line is going to stop. So it's very low there's a very low chance that will actually happen in nature.
Yeah, I heard that, right? So if something pop up, y'all know where that shit was created at. God didn't create that motherfucker. All right, another question. Remember when the natives came here, or when the white man came here, and the native population, they say the smallpox took them out? What would cause something like that to happen? Is that terrain theory or is that germ theory?
So it could be. So this is kind of both of them, right? So when you come into contact with something that is foreign to you, your body is trying to figure it out, right?
Right.
And if your body is not equipped to handle it, the repeated exposure is what really takes people out, right? Because again, think about it like a bridge, right? A bridge is meant to carry so many cars back and forth across so many miles, right? But you have to do periodic maintenance on the bridge to make sure that the bridge doesn't collapse. Now, if you don't do periodic maintenance on the bridge, what's going to happen? The bridge is going to collapse, right? So after repeated contact with foreign pathogens and foreign things, your body's going to start to break down if you don't replenish it in a way and replenish that terrain to make sure that this infection cannot take hold, or to make sure that these things cannot get into your body and invade your body. Your body is smart. Your body is intelligent. It has all of these checkpoints. It has all of these, guards, more or less, to make sure that your energy is circulating correctly. You don't have any blockages. But when things get backed up, either from your diet, how you're moving, then that's when you'll start to see disease, right? So it wasn't specifically that, the natives were coming into contact. You're adopting their customs. You're adopting their food habits. You're starting to do the things that they do. If that is not what your body is made for, then you're going to start to see things break down. Then that's when you're going to start to be susceptible to other foreign diseases or foreign maladies and things like that. So if you're doing something that your body is not used to, your body has to adjust to it at some point. But if it's something that's also detrimental to your body, it's going to progressively weaken your body to a point where now the terrain of all of these people is now able to be overtaken by this virus. And when that happens, now you start to see it spread through the population. You have no innate immunity to whatever this foreign pathogen is. And so now you start to come up with these issues where you have this whole population that's susceptible to this thing, and there's no real intervention for it because they're continuing to do the same things. Now, you didn't have like all of these people succumb to this on accident. They talk about the smallpox blanket. So you have all these things that were done intentionally, right? Because your body, again, is intelligent and it will find ways to overcome whatever it is that you're being afflicted with. But if you're being constantly, exposed to it, it's very hard for your body to recover. Then you have to think about your body is using all these micronutrients in order to mount this defense. Eventually you get depleted. Eventually you get exhausted. When that happens, that's when these things take hold. And then that's when your body's not able to fight back anymore.
That makes sense. Okay. So, for example, the white man bring over whiskey. Now the natives is drinking whiskey. You combine that with the smallpox. Now it's a recipe for disaster.
Alcohol weakens your immune system.
Yeah. Don't do drugs, kids. That's the moral of the story here. Don't do drugs. Somebody in the chat here said something about Ebola. Oh, Cannon. What up, Cannon?
So hemorrhagic fevers are particularly nasty. A lot of people think that, well, there is some evidence to say that it's man-made. I'm not going to go out on that limb here. We can talk about it more at HotepCon. But hemorrhagic fevers are a little bit different. But there's some other stuff that they don't talk about with hemorrhagic fevers that we can get into at HotepCon.
Okay. Yeah. It was just a bit concerning what Sam Harris said, because the theory now is, the conspiracy theory now is, they get everybody to distrust the vax so that later on something really bad happens and now nobody wants to take the vax, and then you got a I Am Legend situation.
That's just more smoke and mirrors and bullshit. That's just more stuff they're trying to use to scare people. Like, just ignore that shit. None of that, man. You have to think about it. If you have something that is particularly nasty that's killing everybody, it's not going to spread very far. Like, how? Because you got to have vectors for these things to spread, right? Or you got to have the conditions for these things to spread, right? So if it's killing everybody that it comes into contact with, where the hell is it going to spread?
That's a rather good point, sir. It's a rather good point. What about this new disease? They got some shit called Disease X. Did you hear about that?
I heard about it, and you know what, man? I gotta be honest. I'll be tuning this shit out, dog. Like, it's just more fear porn, dog. It's just like, oh, we have this unknown disease, but it's like, y'all got catalogs, all this other shit, and you can tell us down to the millisecond where you found this strain of COVID, but you named this disease. Like, man, shut the fuck up. Like, nobody's going for that shit, dog. Like, get out of here. What do you mean Disease X? Like, y'all so smart and y'all know so much about all these other diseases, but you got to name this Disease X because you don't know when it's going to strike and what it's going to do. Man, shut up. I'm not listening to that.
Yeah, it's funny you said you tune it out, because sometimes people ask me questions about things and I'm like, yeah, I saw that story and I just scrolled right past it.
Exactly. Like, I'm not gonna listen to that, dog. Like, because you have to think about it too. Infection is not just in your body, right? Infectious through your ears too. Like if you hear these things and they condition you to think that XYZ is going to happen, then infectious already taken hold. Rook was talking about this last time when she was on. You get at some level you have to give consent for these things to happen, right? So one of the ways that you give consent is by listening to the bullshit to begin with. Just don't listen to it. Like just go outside and live life, bro.
I like that. First infection starts between your fucking ears. I mean, in your ears. I like that. I'm gonna use that. I'm stealing that. So true. So true. We got a lot of people out here fucking infected. As far as the COVID-19 response from our government and government agencies or some shit or whatever the fuck, what was the most peculiar, strangest thing or odd or idiotic thing in all of the response that stood out most to you that you just went, no, that's not right?
I wish I could say everything, and we know at this point that's everything, but I will say when things really started popping off heavy and they was talking about like social distancing, what the fuck social distancing gonna do? Like I gotta stay 6 feet away from this person because like this virus might spread to me, because I'm going back to the same thing we said earlier, right? Like you could walk into a room full of sick people, you could walk out and be fine, right? So it's just like, the hell is social distancing gonna do? Then the mask, like, bro. And I think the thing that like it really should have made people like question what was going on is when they just said it doesn't matter what kind of mask, just make sure your face is covered. And I'm like, there's different coverage for like these masks you're wearing, dog. Like some of these, like some of the microns of the weaving, like they don't stop everything. So like if this thing is supposed, like if this virus is as deadly and communicative as y'all say it is, and everybody has to wear N95s, why are they telling people that cloth masks are acceptable? And then you got people like hanging the mask on their rearview mirror, and then like you see them and they take it off and then they put it on. I'm just like, like you can't think this is working. Like you can't think this is stopping anything. Like there's no way. And then what really got me too was when they would intermittently let people travel during COVID, but as long as you wore a mask. And I'm like, bro, you on this plane with all these funky ass people, and like y'all think nothing's spreading in here? Like, what are you talking about? Like what are we doing here? Like what is this for? You know? And it was pretty simple to suss out that this was all about control at first, especially when you started thinking about some of the genetic things that were going on. We're talking about how they were engineering the vaccines. And can we say vaccine now, or are we gonna get another?
We can say it now. I don't give a fuck.
Okay. So how they were engineering the vaccines, and then they were talking about, you know, isolating spike protein. I'm like, that's gonna cause genetic squeezing. You're gonna have more variants pop up faster, and that's exactly what happened. I'm just like, bro, this is all like first year microbio shit, dog. Like, what is this? Like, why? Like, why is everything that I was taught in school just being ignored right now? Like, yeah, everybody's just taking everybody else's word. But I was like, bro, I don't think nobody knows what's going on. And you know, when this thing first started, I did a lot of research about it up front, because I was like, man, this is really interesting. Like we never lived through anything like this in our lifetime, right? And so I'm like, all right, I kind of want to, you know, do as much as I can to like help people. And so when I learned about patient zero, so patient zero was somebody I think that came from Asia Pacific in like January. That was like the first documented case of COVID, and that was when they sequenced it, they found a fear and cleavage sequence that was really similar to the flu. And so when I saw that, I was like, bro, this is just like the super flu, like whatever. Like I haven't gotten the flu in years. Like, I mean, I can count on my hands how many times in my adult life and my child life I've had the flu. I'm not worried about this shit. Like, whatever. And I'm sitting here looking at the other stuff. I'm just like, okay, this person got over it in like 2 weeks, man. Like, why are they locking people down because of this shit? Like, why are they trying to make it seem like is like this super deadly thing? You remember too when it first came out and they were showing all the videos of people like having these weird coughing fits and like falling out in the airport and shit.
Yeah.
And then like a year later they don't show none of that. Like you don't see nobody falling out no more. You don't see nobody having no coughing
fits. They just
threw
that footage out.
That stuff no more. And I was like, bro, this is like a huge psyop, bro. Like people were legit. They really, and they got a lot of people too, and they still get a lot of people to this day, man. Like one of my homies is out in LA right now. He's like, man, they still passing out masks and doing all this other shit. I was just like, bro, like keep me out of California, dog. I'm good. Like red states, I feel like are going to be the last place that you actually have some freedom, because I can tell you here, man, they put us on lockdown for 2 weeks and they said, fuck it, y'all gonna have to figure it out. We can't keep shit closed over here, man. Y'all gonna have to go back to work. Y'all have to figure it out. So yeah, man, it was that whole response was really interesting.
I mean, they got me at first, but they didn't get me with the propaganda. They got me with the virus itself, because I was at CES and all them Chinese motherfuckers was in the basement, when we was out there. And we was in Vegas, and I'll never forget, I came back and I got off the plane and I was like, yo, I need to sit down. It's like, what the fuck? And I was just really fatigued, and I was, sick for like a week or two after. So when the news said it was a virus, I was like, oh, that's that shit I had, because I ain't never been sick like that. So then I had to take a flight to Jamaica, and I was in Jamaica with the mask on, right? And my parents like, oh, you crazy? Why you got the mask on? They laughing at me and shit. I'm like, you ain't had what I had, right? Then I got to Jamaica, and I got to Jamaican airport, and all the hotel airport workers is looking at me like, why this nigga got a mask on? Fast forward, I'm the one telling everybody, man, fuck that mask. My mama and daddy, they got on 3-4 masks. Jamaica got everything masked up and locked down. And I was like, it's a huge role reversal here. That shit was crazy, bro.
Man, fear is a motherfucker, dog. Like, fear be making people do some crazy shit. So
yes, it will. I remember when they finally said we was free, we were liberated and said we didn't have to wear masks on the airplanes anymore. I remember getting on my flight, and I looked up and I saw all these people on my flight without masks. And I said, we free, y'all. And the whole plane started clapping. I was high-fiving niggas down the aisle and shit. Niggas was happy. Oh, man, white folks was really happy that day.
Oh, man, that's crazy. That's funny as hell, though. Yeah, man, like, it's like Independence Day all over again, right?
Word. That's exactly what it was like. We beat the aliens.
Will Smith come out, welcome to Earth.
So you said your first year knowledge was being ignored? Like basically like basic science. That's what I saw. I'm not equipped like you, but being a Hotep, you gotta do a little bit of biology and chemistry. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise you can't really call yourself Hotep.
Right.
You gotta do your Dr. Sabies and all of that shit. So, who was the other cat? Minister Inky. You ever listen to Minister Inky?
Yo, listen, Minister Inky is that dude. Like, matter of fact, I used to watch the little Black and Nobel videos, the little bookstore in Philly. They used to do like a little seminar series and shit. I used to have Minister Inky come on that. Man, every time he came on there, I was watching his videos, dog. Minister Inky is that dude. Matter of fact, there's a video, it's very hard to find. I'm gonna see if I can find it before HotepCon so I can give everybody a link to it. But I remember we were talking about HIV earlier, and he had a whole video like breaking down HIV and all stuff, and he was talking about glycoprotein 120, and he was like, HIV isn't doing anything to anybody. It's glycoprotein, it's GP 120 that is actually causing all the problems. And we started breaking that shit down. I was just like, bro, like what is this? Like, what is he talking about? But it was interesting because a lot of the same things he said about GP 120 and HIV, there were a lot of similarities to like the disease pathology in COVID. And so I was like, this is really interesting. And so like I watched that video again during the pandemic, and I was just like, bro, all this shit makes so much sense, dog. Like anyway, I'm gonna try to find the link.
Who did I have on that was talking about GP 120? Damn, it was somebody I had on was talking about GP 120. We was talking about, I remember we had the watch party for the that one was sponsored by Zeitgeist Reviews.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it was. And Eric and Lila Hart had did a documentary on COVID-19. The shit's like 3 hours long. And they kept saying that GP 120. That's why I remember hearing that. So you knew about this from Minister Enki a while ago.
Yeah, Minister Enki was one of the first people that started talking about, HIV in the community and, what it really is. And I was just like, bro, this shit is crazy. This shit is so crazy. And that was like one of the things that, inspired me to keep going with science. And, because I think I was still an undergrad at the time. Matter of fact, I think I was in genetics at the time. I was taking genetics that semester when I found that video. And, I was just like, yeah, man, this is so interesting. Like, and it's interesting too, where you get the knowledge from somebody that looks like you and somebody that doesn't look like you, right? Because the points of view are different, because the priorities are different, right? When you think about let's talk about melanin for a little bit. So you can't ever really learn, and this is not a good, bad, right or wrong thing. Some people kind of get pissed off about it, but I'm just like, it just is, right? This is just how it is. You can't learn fully about yourself if you're a melanated person from a non-melanated person, because they don't have the same exact genetics that you do. And the things that they want to learn about are not the same genetically that you want to learn about. And so there are going to be some things that are de-emphasized on their side that should be emphasized on your side, and vice versa. And if we were to actually acknowledge that in the medical community and acknowledge that in the scientific community and actually be honest about it, we learn a little bit more about each other in general. And that was one of the things that made me want to keep going, because it's like, man, there are some questions that are in these books that are just not answered in a way that will help me grow as a scientist. And that's where you have to go outside to people like, Minister Enki talking about Laila Africa is a brilliant chemist or brilliant scientist. I got one of his books on I can't even think of the name of it now, but it's like an encyclopedia of African healing and holistic African healing and stuff. He's got so many different things in there that people do not talk about in traditional medical textbooks or traditional scientific textbooks. And he really looks at it from a whole, where he talks about astrology and talking about African genetics and African phenotypes, genotypes. And there are a lot of different things in there, like a lot of different charts, iridology, reflexology. These are things that they don't really teach in school anymore. These are old school arts where, you look at other holistic healers and natural healers, they actually go into that stuff. I think one of the reasons why we don't go into that stuff in Western medicine is because if you don't have a drug target, Western medicine doesn't care. If they can't cut you open or give you a drug, they don't give a fuck about it. That's literally it. Right. Because a lot of diseases start with lymph stagnation, but you cannot give somebody a drug to make lymph not stagnant. So they don't care about it. So if you can't market a drug or cut somebody open, Western medicine just doesn't care. And that's only part of the equation for people trying to be healthier, for people trying to learn about themselves, right? You actually got to talk about the other stuff that matters too. But you can't make any money off anything that's curative. You gotta create repeat customers, which is why they engineer this shit like they do now, especially with these mRNA vaccines. These things aren't meant to cure anything. A lot of drugs on the market aren't meant to cure anything. They're meant to manage symptoms, because when you manage symptoms, you still have people that got to keep paying for it. They keep paying for it. You have reoccurring source of income. So that's the income revenue generating model for medicine over here. And if you want something different, you got to go find something different.
Yeah, I remember binging on Minister Enki's videos and diving in. I think my interest was melanin, right? Obviously, being a black kid, you're like, oh, melanin, let me, go learn about this shit. And then, like you said, he started talking about other different, things, et cetera, that I found absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, and, it's a shame that a lot of his stuff is really hard to find now. I know he had the stuff with the Amber Institute. Mm-hmm. A lot of stuff on that website is kind of hard to find now. A lot of the older videos with him on Black and Nobel is kind of hard to find. I'm gonna try to find that GP 120 video though, because it'll definitely change your mind about a lot of stuff with HIV if it hasn't already been changed. Because think about who was in charge of the COVID response and who was in charge of the HIV response. So when you start to connect them dots, it's like there's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. So.
Yeah, I know his videos are probably, many of them disappeared from the internet, mostly after the purchase of YouTube by Google. And then they wanted to, because you got to imagine, right? Like you'd have a channel and they'd post one video, but another video or another set of videos all violate TOS all of a sudden. So you lose all the good videos and all the bad videos. Meanwhile, it's just like, they said something about something that they shouldn't have said, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then we lose the whole catalog. That's why it's very important for some of these videos people just download and keep an archive of. And I know somebody out there has got like a fucking terabytes of all those fucking old videos and shit. He gonna try and sell us.
I had to do some of that shit with Carrie Mullis's videos. They got some of them up still, but I had to do that with some of Carrie Mullis's videos because some of the stuff he was saying is like, bro, they finna take this shit off the internet. Like, ain't no way they finna lead us up here. So, if people like, and that was the thing we were talking about with the PCR test, right? Like, I remember when we first started talking about the PCR test, and I'll tell you about the different
cycles,
the different cycle thresholds and all that stuff, and how they were too high and they were creating all these false positives on purpose. And Carrie, one of Carrie's things that he always talks about how PCR basically is magic because like you use such small amount of genetic material that you don't even really know what you're using. And it's like, so have you ever heard the story of like how he found like all of the parameters to do PCR? Okay, so Carrie Mullis was he was, I ain't gonna say he was a drug addict, but he definitely used to take like hallucinogens and shit. No, for real, he used to take LSD. He was tripping on LSD one night. I think he said he was driving on the side of a mountain, and he said like this green raccoon came up to him and like told him all of the things to do PCR, and he ended up going and trying in the laboratory and it worked. I'm dead ass serious. Like a fucking green raccoon, dog. I'm dead serious.
Uncle Hotep discovered the PCR. Damn. Psychedelics, man. People ask me, Hotep, you ever did psychedelics? I'm like, nah, nigga, I'm already too fucking psychedelic out. You know what I mean? I'm a little scared. But
and there are a lot of other scientists that, use psychs and then end up finding something, I mean, and I'm not for or against either way. I just think that if you have another way to unlock some of the depths of your brain to figure out something, hey, as long as you're cool with it, knock yourself out. Some people use them, some people don't. Some people still find great things without them, but some people think it takes you to a different level, of knowledge and understanding. That's okay. I don't have any issues with that. All I can say is that there are some people that found very great inventions when they've been on psychedelics. So that's really all I can say about it.
In my early 20s, I remember big PC geek, and there was some problem I was trying to figure out with my PC, and I just couldn't figure it out. And then I just went to sleep. I decided to go to sleep, and I entered a dream. And in the dream, I figured out the problem. And then I popped up out of my dream, went to the computer, tried it, and it worked. And I was like, holy shit, what the fuck was that? So
you have to think about like, and I think Rook was talking about this a little bit too, is that like we don't navigate life through just a physical space, right? We also navigate it through a mental and spiritual space. So there are a lot of things that when we think about in the waking space that we're in, we don't have all these answers in the waking space, but when we go to sleep and we start to pull these things down from the ether, like the answers are already there. It's just on us to like be able to interpret them and pull them down. And sometimes you have to go into different states in order to do that. So one of the things I think about a lot, especially when you're solving problems, I heard this quote a while ago, is that you can't trust the thought that you have while you're sitting down. And I'm just like, that makes so much sense because nothing's flowing. Like you have everything stagnant. You're just kind of in the same spot. Nothing's moving, nothing's flowing. And everything in this universe that we're in right now works via flow, right? You have to be flowing in some kind of way, whether you're moving, talking, you're just, in the energy, you have to be in it to feel it, right? So when you're solving those problems, or if you have a problem that you're having a lot of issues you're trying to solve, one of the best things you do is take a walk. Whenever I have something that, I'm having issues with, or it's like, damn, I can't figure this out, I'll just get up and take like a 15, 20-minute walk, and I'll think about it while I'm walking. And those are the things that generally after that happens, I'll find a solution to whatever it is. Sometimes you set that intention before you go to bed, right? And you ask your sleep self, like, hey, I can't figure this shit out. I need you. Can you go do something else in the sleep realm? Go find out what we're looking for. I know it's up there. I just can't pull it down. I need you to bring that down here so when I get up, I can go figure this out. And a lot of times that'll happen, right? Especially if you can like lucid dream, right? So lucid dreaming was something I used to do I used to do it a lot when I was an undergrad, just to see if I could do it, right? And I remember one time I was able to do like 3 nights in a row. And it's kind of like this sweet spot, right? Where you kind of have to train your body to do it. You have to like get right to the edge of when you're about to fall into deep sleep, and then you kind of have to like shock yourself out of it. And then you start talking to yourself in your head. It's like, hey, do this. And then like you see yourself do it in the dream. And it's like, oh, okay. Like once you're in that state, then you know you kind of just like walk around, do whatever you want to. And I don't experiment with a lot of it anymore than I probably should. But lucid dreaming, you can find out a lot of things and like do a lot of things hypothetically that you can try when you're awake. That's one of the things that's helped me a lot with chemistry, because a lot of times you have to see, especially when you're doing organic chemistry, you kind of have to envision the molecules in your head, right? Where we have these model kits, we have these 3D model kits where you have like balls and sticks, you put them together and it gives you a spatial representation of whatever the molecule is, right? Well, if you can't see that inside of your head, it's very hard for you to make the molecules that you need to make and guess or see how they're going to fit into different spaces, right? So being able to turn and move things in your head is definitely something that's helpful when you're trying to create things, right? And I remember
that's spatial intelligence.
Yes, spatial intelligence. And a lot of people do not have that. And I was very, very shocked to learn that, because it's just something I've always been able to do. Like it got better when I started like actually training it, but that's something I've always been able to do. And so I was talking with my colleagues one day and I was like, yeah, I was kind of like looking at it in my head, and they were just looking at me like you can do that? I was like, you can't do that. like how are you a chemist? You can't do that. Like, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about here? So that's something that a lot of people don't have. I definitely think it's something that you can train, but you have to be active about training it. But once you do have that spatial intelligence, it helps you a lot, because, everything's not flat. And that's one of the things I like to talk about with like depth, right? We'll talk about this some at HotepCon too. When you're talking about interference and you talk about light and light being a particle or a wave, and how like light has both of those natures, right? And so people talk about it's almost like listening to a song for the first time. You come back and listen to it like 5 years later, once you have more knowledge and understand, you hear something else different, right? Well, all of these spaces that we're in have a significant amount of depth to them. And for your level of knowledge and understanding, you may not be able to see it, right? So the perfect example I give is like Mario. So when Mario first started off, Mario's 2D, he's got these ugly ass overalls on, the stages are really bland, he can only just throw shit in one direction. But as we go through the different progressions of video game consoles, right, Mario starts to gain more depth. So we go from, Super Mario to Mario 2 to Mario 3 to Mario 64. Now Mario is just like damn, we can see everything that Mario can see, right? Mm-hmm. But the thing was that Mario always had 3D depth. We couldn't see it because we're limited by what we understand at the time and what our senses allow us to see. So you can be in the same exact space and experience life differently from what somebody else is experiencing. So we could all be sitting in the Ahern, right? You have one person that walk in, they're a multi-billionaire, right? That person is experiencing that space completely differently from how we're experiencing it. Does that mean that the space is different? No, that means that they have a level of depth and understanding that everybody else doesn't have. That's not a good, bad, right, or wrong thing. That is a progression thing, and that is how we have to look at things when we're around them. Just because we can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. And just because we can't see it doesn't mean that we won't eventually be able to see it, but you have to equip yourself with the knowledge and the understanding and the spatial tools in order to be able to recognize it. And that's science all day. That's that's constructive interference, destructive interference. We talk about vibes because a lot of times we used to work out vibes. You go in somewhere, he's like, ugh, you kind of get a bad vibe, right? You're just like, oh, get the hell out of here, and then some shit go down later on. That's science, because if we're all electromagnetic beings, that means we have an electrical field, we have a magnetic field. Like things attract like things. Unlike things repel each other, right? So if your magnetic field, your electric field is not matched up with wherever you are, you're gonna feel it instantly. Now, whether or not you choose to pay attention to it, that's a completely different thing. Because some people just ignore the shit and then be messed up when it's a damn shooting going on. It was like, all right, but you felt the vibes when you walked in there. Yep. So like,
you didn't listen, yeah.
So, but a lot of people don't think about it like that on a scientific level. But all the shit is science. Like it's all science. some of we pay attention to, some of it we don't, and we try to make excuses for it on the back end.
Absolutely. You know, in regards to spatial intelligence, I began to work on mine through playing chess. And chess requires a ton of visualization because you have to see, you know, a set amount of moves ahead, right? And then people think, oh, well, that's easy. It's just, you know, you got to, you know, see, you know, set moves ahead. But it's like, it doesn't exactly work like that. For example, if I have, if I make a series of moves in my head, I also have to calculate like an X-ray move or a pin piece, right? Because you have to calculate the fact that you've moved that piece, and now you have to compensate in your mind what changed about the game after you moved that piece. And sometimes you do a set of moves, and you're like, oh, wait, that's wrong because this piece is no longer there, therefore my queen is hanging, right? Because let's say I have like my knight in the same row as my queen. I can calculate all these different knight moves, but the queen is in the same row as this one. So as soon as I moved my knight, my queen was exposed. You have to see all those different levels of depth. And that's why I always tell people you should definitely train in chess. And really my motivation in training in chess was to get better at manifesting things I wanted in my life. Because manifesting requires visualization and chess requires visualization. And through doing that, I'm able to you know, do pretty awesome things.
And it's interesting that you bring that up too, because sometimes I'll watch like different masters, international masters, grandmasters stuff play, and it's funny because like I'll watch them play against stockfish sometimes, and it's like they'll see these moves like a human would never make this move. Like how that like that's how you know you're playing. That's how you know you're like sometimes they'll try to catch people cheating. Yeah, and it was like a human would never make this move. It is the correct move, right? But a human would never see this. Correct. And so that's how you can distinguish between like somebody that's actually playing the game and somebody that's actually cheating. So like that stuff is very true because, you know, again, it's about depth. It's about what you know, what you've seen, what you understand, and the patterns that repeat. Based on the patterns that a normal human would see playing chess, they're never going to see this move. A computer's going to see it because it's just going to analyze all the moves that are available and calculate the best one.
Right. At a super deep depth as well. So they'll see all the different combinations where it's just impossible for us to do it, especially in certain time limits. But yeah, like also like when you analyze your chess games, you have to understand the game well enough to know the difference between a computer move and a human move.
Right.
Because you could be like, oh, this was the right move, but I'm like, there's no way in hell I was figuring that shit out. Like, just you got to kind of like let it go, right?
Right.
And try to focus on some of the ones that are more obvious, maybe force moves, you know. But chess is a beautiful game, and I actually had a little bit of experience in the ether world with chess, where it was recent. I was in Miami, falling asleep, and I was visualizing the chessboard as I was falling asleep because I'm just a chess addict, and then I was able to see the board. And I was like, oh shit, I can see the board. Because usually I can't see the board. If I close my eyes, I can't see the board. I was able to like count the squares in my head, but only in this like half sleep moment. The moment I had full waking, I was better at seeing the board, but I didn't see it like when I was. And then another time I was falling asleep and I was visualizing the board, and I noticed that I shrunk the board to see the board better. So now when I visualize, like we do blindfold exercises with the coach. So like, I can't give up the secret of what exactly he does, but basically he tells us the position on the board, and then we have to see that position on the board and then find mate, right? So in doing that, I've realized if I make the board smaller in my head, it's like this big, and then I can actually see the whole board. Whereas when you're playing a computer, like the board's kind of big, or in real life, the board's kind of big. But if you can shrink it, you can see the whole thing. So that's what I learned, like in half sleep, I learned to shrink the board. And when I told Coach, I was like, Coach, I shrink the board in my head. He goes, oh yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. I'm like, why the fuck you ain't tell me? You know? He's like, oh yeah, that's right.
Now you learned it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let me see what's up with the super chats, and I'm gonna let Tanei, enjoy his day. I promised I have him out of 30 minutes, and we went over time a little bit. Okay, so AM1 says Hotep should chat with Dr. Thomas Cowan and Andrew Kaufman to sort this out. They have some of the best info on this topic. You ever heard of those names?
Not off the top of my head.
All right. Canon Hotep, he says, that's why I was out here yelling frizzle over Fauci. He was trying to tell us what we learned in school was null and void. Yeah, word. Punks McGee said tick bites cause alpha-gal syndrome, allergy to red meat. The Fauci juice has
alpha-gal syndrome. Yeah, I've heard about that.
He said the Fauci juice has the same ingredients as tick bites. AGS is up 40% since 2017. Coincidence? Oh man, here we go.
That's a side quest, ain't it?
That's definitely a side quest. He's definitely getting thrown in the gulags for that one. Let me check on the chat. Shout out to the chat. I see y'all in the chat. Appreciate y'all tuning in on this fine Saturday. What up, Fuego? What up, Jonah? Tari in the house. What up, man? Let me check on my YouTubers too. You know what I mean? Show y'all some love. What up, Carmen? Carmen's in the house. What up, Carmen? Carmen Smith Studio, one of my favorite malls. Jabari in the house. He said lack of sleep equals depression and hallucinating. Coincidence? Oh, wow. Kenneth said he used to lucid dream at will. When I was a kid, I could. I try nowadays.
Like, try now. Like, because, you know, we'd be distracted with so much shit. Like, you got to have a clear mind to do it, you know? So you actually have to try now.
I got too much worries and shit. And I'm going to bed. You know what I mean? When I was younger, you ain't had shit to worry about. So I was hopping in and out of lucid dreams when I was younger. But adult, I'm worried about the bills and this and the Grift Report and Hotep Con. I can't even keep a straight head. Psychedelics just release certain chemicals to certain receptors in the brain. You can have that happen naturally if you learn how to control your brain. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. You produce small amounts of DMT when you breathe, so a lot of it has to do with breath work.
Robert Jones says, I have legit solved math problems in my sleep. Yeah, I used to tell my students. I used to have a Saturday class. I used to tell my students, I say, y'all got to learn how to do y'all work in y'all sleep. They used to look at me like, what the fuck is this nigga talk about? And I'm like, I tried to explain it to them, but I still think it was like a foreign concept for some of them. But
Bobby Hemmett, I don't know how deep into that shit you used to go. Like, Bobby
I remember Hemmett. That nigga crazy.
So Bobby Hemmett used to have a couple little videos you talk about like lucid dreaming and talking about all that stuff. So it's interesting if you're into that stuff. It's very interesting to think about.
Bobby Hemmett was the man, yo. Cause you see what these motherfuckers, these crackers, what they do is these crackers, they got psychology. Yo. I was listening to some Bobby Hemmett the other day. I had to turn it off and shit. I was like,
some of that shit be like, all right, man, like, you kind of go a little bit too far with this. Like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't know if I'll ever be ready for that.
You know, for me, what it was more of the charlatan coming out through his rhetoric. Where it's just like, I just want the information, dog. I don't need you to tell me why it's pertinent to my life, you know? But I know it was a different times, the 80s, you know what I mean? You had to keep the crowd, engaged.
You gotta keep them in it, man. You gotta keep them in it. Like, you look at some of Phil Valentine old lectures, man. Like, like you just had to keep them in it somehow, you know? So, no, I feel it.
Yeah. But I tried to listen to some Bobby Hemmett, and I think I turned it off and put on some John Henrik Clarke. some shit John Henrik Clarke. When I take my long drives, I get the lectures on. Oh man. Hey man, good time. I can't wait to see you at HotepCon. I will get you your flight information. Don't worry, we already booked it. You're good to go. So I'll get you your flight information and all is well. And I'll see you next week.
All right, sounds good. See y'all later, family. Hotep and Bill.
All right, Hotep and Bill. Ladies, we'll be right back after this short commercial break.
Yeah, I can try to get that handled for you. Again, it's only my second day, so if you can give me a second. How I'm supposed to do this? How the hell are we supposed to do this by 5 o'clock?
I have no clue.
Is that possible? Hey, do you have the password to... How'd you finish all your work already?
He's not tapped in. How'd you get that done so quick?
They think they're gonna be able to budget that?
It's money. That's money right there, you understand?
You guys finished your work 6 hours early? He's not tapped in.
We back.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Hey, I'm a published author, 3-time author. You can go get all my books at HotepJesus.com. We got a couple of short stories. Then we're going to open up the phone lines. It's a wild Saturday. It's a very weird Saturday. Let's start off slow with the Grift Report. So we got DeSantis showing up somewhere, somehow, when the crowd is chanting for Trump. That's got to be so demoralizing. That's got to be absolutely demoralizing to show up somewhere and everybody's cheering on your competition. Absolutely demoralizing. Wait, can y'all see me? Wait, why can't y'all see me? Nope. 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 I'll figure it out. Hold on. I'm here, right? Okay, I'm here. But I'm not here. I'm here. But I'm not here. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But yeah, so oh, I know what I can do. Wait, that didn't work. And there. Okay. Maybe if I push this up. Whoop, too far. Here. There we go. I'm in there. So who actually thought that DeSantis had any hope of defeating Trump? Like any? Didn't Hotep's been told you this guy wasn't gonna make it? He ain't got it. He just doesn't have it. And now he's embarrassed. The worst thing he could have did was attack Trump. If he was going to run, he should just mind his business, say, hey, I like Trump. You know, if I lose, I wouldn't mind being his VP. Keep your nose clean. But he listened to his people and they fucked him up. Go at Trump. You know why? You know why he did that? Because that's what everybody tells you to do in politics. In politics, they tell you attack your opponent. Attack your opponent. I'd love to say that doesn't work. But they've been doing it so long, and I don't have political experience that I don't want to refute it and say it doesn't work. But I would venture to say from my experience in business that that's pretty much a bad idea to highlight your competition. You're giving them visibility. You're bringing them front of mind. But I guess, you know, maybe it's different in politics. I don't know. But if I ran somebody's political campaign, I would tell them, yo, don't do that. That's a bad move. And maybe that would just make me a bad political commentator. It's the Grift Reports. You know we got the griftiest. Fucking Vivek is out here. But they got political karaoke now. If y'all want to get it on the phone lines, text message 202-596-5631, 202-596-5631. Text that number with Hotep and in your name to get in line. We got a short bag today, so we're going to get to the calls probably within the next 10, 15 minutes. So Vivek, he just can't help himself. Now he went from attacking black culture to, well, I guess it doesn't count because it's Eminem and he's a white rapper. But he went from attacking black culture to this shit. What is this? I'm going to the presidential debate this month. What should I ask? Okay, so Dom Lucre got Twitter space open. All right. Doing a little bit of crowdsourcing there. All right, last two stories are wild as shit. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but these are related. My boy Blair White posted this video of my boy Alex. Let's see what's going on.
Blair's a good person. You look like a woman. Blair White's done nothing wrong. Your bones look like a woman. We're very blessed to have you as an amazing, beautiful...
Hey, yo, first of all... right here.
Your bones look like a woman. Your bones look like a woman.
Yo.
Your bones look like a woman.
Your bones look like a woman. Which bone you talking about, Alex? This is absolutely insane. Your bones look like a woman. Alex got cut it out, yo. He been in broadcast too long. That's his issue. He been in broadcast too long.
We're very blessed to have you as an amazing, beautiful, smart person. My genetics says this is a woman. You're an articulate.
My genetics says this is a woman. When he says that, what does he mean? What does he mean by that? Is Blair White turning him on? Is that what he means?
My genetics says this is a woman. You're an articulate, amazing person, a beautiful person. The way God works mysterious ways, it creates beautiful things. It just shows you how God works in mysterious ways.
I just got one question for Blair White. Chat, can you help me out? Cause I gotta stand up. What do you call it? A stand-up act or whatever. Spiel or something, but one of my I have a stand-up routine that talks about trans people in a very funny way, in a way that won't get me canceled. So anyway, does Blair White still got a thing? He's getting a trans boner. Come on, Jabari. Does Blair White have a boner? That's all I want to know.
I know this in my heart. You're a good person. You love the children.
And pause just in case.
You're the perfect spokesperson. This is what they probably should have done over at Bud Light. But inherently, at a spiritual level, I realize.
He just pulled her up on his phone and say, this is what they need to do over at Bud Light. Yo, we got to pause on my man Alex, yo.
Over at Bud Light. But inherently, at a spiritual level, I realize that God's working through you, and it's an amazing thing. Blair's a good.
Hey, yo, Alex, listen. I know you watch this show from time to time. Here's my message to you, man. Don't do it, bro. Don't do it. I know your eyes are deceiving you. But don't be fooled, man. Don't be fooled. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I know you getting up there in age and all of that shit. Bruh, come back. Come back to us. Somebody asked me, oh, this is Kay. She texted me, how do you spell the minister's name? You know what I'm saying? There you go. I think I just sent it. Let's see if we can find a video from the minister, actually. Let's go to YouTube. Let's type in, I think this is how you spell it. Or is it with a Q? Oh, it's with a Q. Minister Inky. Here we go. And Minister Inky, well, let's type in, so we can cut right. He's got a bunch of articles, lectures here on chemistry. Damn, they don't even pop up anymore. Damn. Maybe his melanin lecture will pop up. Damn, I don't know what the fuck happened. But that's how you spell it, E-N-Q-I. And okay, here's one of his lectures. This is a 2-hour and 36 lecture. And he's like going through all the different
conditions for fungus, mold, and bacteria to grow. That's right. So we're in the club, the perfect place, right? Perfect place. What's the number one thing that bacteria, yeast, and fungus like? Alcohol.
Oh, wow.
That would kill him. Ooh.
Alcohol. No, they exude it like sweat. They need that because most of them are what's called hydrophobic, which means they can't live in water. Right? So they use alcohol to dry up all the water in any area of the body that they want to make their home. So you got to start to look at them like little people, then it makes more sense, right? And this is fungus, right? You got a husband or a wife, and y'all looking to settle down and raise a family.
So this is Ms. Enki. He was teaching. This is what I used to watch. You see this one, it says February 2013. And this was at Black and Noble Books. This is a bookstore. So you might find it, the rest of his videos on his channel because that's really what used to happen in the Hotep community. We'd have our lectures at bookstores. All of our lectures, you'd buy tickets and you'd go to the bookstore. This is before Amazon really killed a lot of the bookstores. There's still a lot of black bookstores floating around today that are more historical and places of meeting. But that's what we used to do, man. We used to go to the bookstore and watch all of these people with different specialties come together and talk about various subject matters. This is one of them. But yeah, lots of knowledge on these channels. Anyway, let's go back. Somebody asked me about that, so I just want to make sure we got him that information. Let's go back here. Here. So speaking of weird shit, Barack Obama told his ex, "I make love to men daily, but in my imagination." I can't wait to hear Goldstein's take on this. According to the New York Post, it says former President Obama wrote of his own androgynous mind, making love to men daily, but in the imagination, according to the redacted portion of a now notorious 1982 letter obtained by the Post. The more than 40-year-old letter to an ex-girlfriend recently resurfaced after Obama biographer David Garrow gave a long and winded interview on the one-time commander-in-chief. In regard to homosexuality, I must say that I believe this attempt to remove oneself from the present, a refusal perhaps to perpetuate the endless farce of earthly life. You see, I make love to men daily, but in the imagination. Obama, then 21, wrote to Alex McNair. Why would you write that down? My mind is androgynous to a great extent, and I hope to make it more so until I can think in terms of people, not women as opposed to men. But in returning to the body, I see that I have been made a man, and physically in life. I choose to accept that contingency, he added. McNair, who dated Obama during his year at Occidental College in Los Angeles, later redacted the salacious paragraphs which the Pulitzer Prize-winning historian Garrow hunted down and included in his tome. So, you know exactly what this is about to infuriate. It's about to stoke the flames and the fires of. I know y'all. Let me go check the chat. I know the chat probably already doing it. I know the chat in there wilding out. That's what the cook said. Where he at? Oh yeah, remember what happened to the cook? The cook died, right? Somebody said Blair has a bone below the waist. Oh my Lord. Is that true? She does? The Blair Witch Project. Straight white male news said Pearl greater than Blair. Mo facts in the house. Mo facts in the house. Emmanuel Presley says, no cap, Blair looks like a woman. Calm down, Emmanuel. Relax. Relax. You're going to get caught up. Straight white male news said Blair over Suki. You taking Blair over Sukiyana? Blair over Sexy Red? Olivia said Blair was very cute when he was a young man. Really? Fellas, y'all smashing Blair? Would you date Blair, fellas? Y'all in here wilding. That's a huge no for me, just in case. EMP over here wilding out. EMP 1990 wilding out in the Rumble chat. All right, let's not waste any time. Phone lines are open. 202-596-5631. Hold on, I got to get signed in first. It does some weird shit now. It like logs into a different account. Google fucked me up last week. Text Hotepin in your name to 202-596-5631. 202-596-5631. Looks like we got a bunch of people on the line right now. So we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Yeah, I can try to get that handled for you. Again, it's only my second day, so if you can give me a second. How I'm supposed to do this? How the hell are we supposed to do this by 5 o'clock?
I have no clue.
Is that possible? Hey, do you have the password to... How'd you finish all your work already?
He's not tapped in. How'd you get that done so quick?
They think they're gonna be able to budget that?
It's money. That's money right there, you understand?
You guys finished your work 6 hours early?
He's not tapped in.
Hotep Goldstein on the check-in. What up, man?
What's happening?
What's good, man? Happy Saturday, yo.
Blair motherfucking White. Blair motherfucking White. I'm gonna throw this one out there. This is probably something that is a little unconventional when it comes to these motherfuckers. But I'm gonna throw this out there, see where it lands.
All right.
You ever notice how after surgeries, the T people and women, when they get to fucking with their faces and all that other shit, right? You ever notice how all these motherfuckers start looking the same? It's almost like lion-like.
Like it's all one archetype. Like they go to the doctor and they go get the same face.
Right.
Yeah.
What if that's not the case, bro? What if this T people shit is to hide motherfuckers like Blair White who clearly aren't from this goddamn planet? Clearly. What if these motherfuckers are hated?
I knew this nigga was gonna come with the take. I knew it. Lord have mercy. So now you're saying Blair White is extraterrestrial.
Yes. Blair White is not of this earth. I don't think extraterrestrial, though. I think that it's a very good likelihood that this is how demons look, bro. Demons. But because we done seen so much weird shit on the TV, in person, and all this other shit nowadays in the modern era, we can't suss this shit out no more. So they just walk among us. Like back in the day, like 2,000 years ago, if Blair White showed up, man, woman, and child would know that motherfucker wasn't correct.
Yeah.
Just from looking at it. Just from looking at it. And then they would be like, what? Because they were very, very superstitious, very spiritual people back in the day. They're either going to say this is an angel of the Lord or this is a goddamn demon. And because this motherfucker is sitting here turning on Alex Jones, of all goddamn people, I have no choice but to believe that that is a goddamn demon. All those pictures of that motherfucker as a boy, fake. Just like Michelle Obama's pictures as a woman, fake.
Oh, this a real Hotep brother.
They've been pushing this T people shit to give these motherfuckers a soft landing place. That way, no one can question, like, why does this motherfucker look so goddamn strange and odd? And why do I get this visceral feeling that something just ain't right about this son of a bitch? That's why they've been pushing this T people shit. Fuck all them other agendas. That's the agenda. Boom.
Well, case closed, problem solved. Y'all heard it here first. The T people are aliens. Lord have mercy.
Not all of them now. Not all of them.
Oh, not all of them.
some of the humans, they go out there and they fuck themselves up to look like these monstrosities. That's what they will do. But again, these motherfuckers are able to just ease in and be like, oh, why does your face look like a fucking box? Oh, I'm trans. Nah, nigga. Nah, you ain't trans. You're a motherfucking alien or a demon or some other shit. That's what it's all about. That bitch is disgusting, bro. I don't give a fuck. Listen, I can't stand Sukiyama. Cannot stand that bitch, right? You got motherfuckers taking that bitch over Sukiyama? Sukiyama shit is real. The bitch is atrocious, but at least her shit is real.
So you taking
right?
Sukiyama over Blair White?
If I absolutely have to, yes. Yes. Now, if there's some wiggle room, I would just assume just chill under a fucking tree somewhere and read a book. But if I absolutely have to, yes, Sukiyama all day. Ridiculous. Why is this even a topic?
I was just about to ask that. Like, the fact that we even have to say that says we've gone too far.
Man, Alex Jones, I don't know, man. The boy, listen, I've always had my opinion of Alex Jones. And I know that he is a well-liked individual, and that opinion will probably get me drugged in a number of spaces, right? But I feel safe enough in this particular space to say, how much did they sue Alex Jones for? Like a few billion, right?
Like $1 trillion or something like that.
Like $1 trillion?
Yeah.
That motherfucking interview with that goddamn bitch just knocked that down by 90%. Knocked it down.
He got a fee reduction for bringing a trans chick on?
Yep, and not just putting him on there. They even got me saying shit.
So
him on there. Not just doing that, but actually flirting with this motherfucker and making this motherfucker seem legitimate.
Yeah.
That's some op shit if I've ever seen it. That is some op shit if I've ever seen it. Right? Now, tell me the difference between conservatives and liberals now. Because you know how many motherfuckers out there been saying this shit for a minute just because some bitches vote for Trump or because they fucking tell bitches to cook for their husband. Right? That's how easy it is to get into their motherfucking hen house. You run some goddamn thing out there and say, just all you got to do is say, look, cook for your husband, and they'll be right there. And then sure enough, that's exactly what the fuck happened. Cook for your husband. Brad White. I'm not trying to hear none of that shit. Listen, it's over.
I think
it is.
That's pretty grifty of Alex. If that is true, if what you said is true, that's pretty grifty of Alex. It's a pretty smart move, right? You know, you got hit with this $1 trillion fine. Hey, Blair White, come sit next to me for a little while.
Man, ain't no telling what he gonna do next. Now, ain't no telling what he gonna do next. Look, me and my wife were just talking about this shit this morning. Right?
But he been cool with Blair though, like years now.
Yeah, that doesn't make it better. That just means he's been an op for years now. Which again, I feel safe in this place saying that because any other motherfucking space.
So let me ask you this, Goldstein. If you threw an event, let's say something like HotepCon, would trans people be allowed?
Yeah, you sit your ass in the audience if you're paying. But you can't have no platform on this motherfucker. You damn sure can't do that. Your money is just like everyone else's, and I will accept it. But you cannot speak. Just like women in church. You shall not speak in this motherfucker. That's just how that's how that's got to go. I mean, certain motherfuckers, And it's not just a dig at the fucking weirdo community. There's a lot of niggas in a lot of different areas of the world that would have zero platform if I was holding some type of convention.
If you met Blair White, would you shake her hand or give her a hug?
I shake that motherfucker's hand like a nigga.
Like a nigga?
Yeah. It ain't gonna be one of them sideways lady shakes, you know what I mean? Like you do with a lady, where you grab it all the knob. Look, put your hand out there, I'm gonna slap that motherfucker in. And yeah, nigga, come on and dap you up. That's it. That's what you is. You's a nigga. You ain't a black one, but you's a nigga nonetheless. And don't ever let that be lost on you, weirdo. And then I'm trying to fucking find out what the fuck hurt this motherfucker so bad that he decided to sand his junk off.
He decided what?
Sand his junk off.
Oh, yeah.
Stop the thing. I don't even know if he did, but
I don't
you
know.
may as well at this point. You may as well at this point. It is ridiculous. They done got out. Of all the people, Mr. fucking Frogs is gay, he has been consumed. Consumed.
Do you think Blair White got that wop?
Probably for him. Probably for him. Look, that's the only way you gonna get that nigga to say any of the shit that he said talking about God works in mysterious ways. This nigga done besmirched the almighty behind this bitch. I done seen niggas be a little bit more careful with their words when it pertains to real goddamn women.
Yeah.
This nigga threw a demon in front of the Lord and said, "You work in mysterious ways, God." So you know they fucked before that interview.
Oh shit.
You know they That motherfucker ain't no messenger of God unless you got a different God than I thought you did, which is a very, very, very good likelihood of fucking with Alex now.
He got to get some points back, man. They killed his social credit score. He got to get his social credit score back up, man. You know?
Nigga, listen, let me tell you something. You don't need to get no goddamn points back. The world is different now. 5 years ago, he might have needed to get some goddamn points back. Now, on the iTunes charts, you got some redheaded nigga in the fucking forest with a banjo talking about the dollar ain't shit, and he got 3 different songs on the top 10 chart. All right?
Yeah.
The economy is all for this shit now. It's the new gold rush. The conservative philosophies is the new gold rush.
Mm-hmm.
All right, if you're the first in and you're the best dressed, you stand to make the most money right now because motherfuckers are laying claim to the economic pie that used to belong solely to the left.
Mm-hmm.
And motherfuckers know this now. Jason Aldean, he sent up that fucking song. That was the last bat signal to all the fucking conservative grifters. It's all good here now. I got a #1 song on the Billboard charts. So you don't need to fucking pander, kiss ass, or do any of that shit to these weird motherfuckers no more. Because the landscape, economically speaking, is such that the further right you go, the more of a chance you stand to become an institution on your goddamn own right. Unless, I mean, there's a certain line that we all know that you can't cross when heading right, but if you can toe that motherfucker and you'll be all right nowadays. You may be better off because people are sick of these fucking weirdos. They sick of them. And this shit is a breath of fresh air to a lot of just normal people, even if they are leftists. They're like, you know what? I just can't stand these weird looking motherfuckers, these weird human skin wearing motherfuckers anymore. They've gone too far, and I'd rather just listen to this nigga in the woods with the banjo, which is where, by the way, Tom McDonald should have had his ass, but he want to sit here and grift off of Bryson's Gray shit. He should have been in the forest with the banjo. He would have been the man. Right now, this nigga's the man. Ain't nobody fucking with Tom no more.
He said Blair versus AOC. That's tough. I gotta go AOC. Oh, come on, straight white male news. Monique said Goldstein might be onto something. Remember the movie Species? I do remember the movie Species. The attractive woman is a reptilian alien. Maybe that movie was predictive programming. Oh, come on.
Yeah. What I'm saying? Come on. You got to look at all the angles, man. That way they never catch you slipping. You know what I mean? Is it plausible that this is just some, I mean, is it more plausible that this is just some broken-ass boy who was molested and decided I'm going to fucking lash out against my motherfucking molester and myself? Yes. That is probably the most likely scenario here. But there's always that motherfucking 1%. And if you notice that 1% before anyone else, then these niggas can't just show up and eat your kids. Okay? They can't just show up. Listen, humans get to doing some weird shit, bro. If you look at Sodom and Gomorrah,
there we go.
If you look at Sodom and Gomorrah, them niggas wanted to fuck the angels, bro. Lot said, I got
You wouldn't want to
right
fuck an
here.
angel?
Huh?
You wouldn't want to fuck an angel?
I don't know what one looks like, and I don't know if it's female. But if it's
I'm
fine
just
and
saying, what if
female-
a badass angel just fell out the sky and shit? Said, what up, Goldstein?
If it's fine and female, yes.
Yeah.
And I can't stress enough, and female, yes. But if it's any other goddamn thing, and the universe is a very big place, so ain't no telling what the fuck is out there. If it's anything other than a female, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. That's where I draw the line. You're not going to fuck up my genetics, and you damn sure ain't going to fuck up my spiritual genetics with me fucking with you. You ain't going to do it.
Facts.
You know, but these humans, they was like, look, they noticed that these motherfuckers look different than everybody else. And Lot was like, I got daughters, man. They're virgins. You can have them. Just please don't fuck with these niggas. And they was like, no, we want them niggas. So humans, they do some weird shit, bro. Can't put it past the human to do some weird shit. But sometimes, like Blair White, I think that's indicative of some next level extraterrestrial or interdimensional bullshit right there.
All right, let me get to some more callers, yo.
Hotep and Bill.
Hotep and Bill. This nigga's crazy, yo. Chat, we got to go to the poll. Did he overdose? I got to start the poll. He overdosed again. K, call in. K, call in. K, it's your turn, baby. Call in, K. He overdosed, yo. He overdosed on a red pill. No, that's not K. I know who that is. Jonah, hold on a second, Jonah. We gonna get to you. Get your shit together, Jonah. Get all your notes and everything and send me the links. You know what I mean? Send me some links and shit. We gonna go to K, then we gonna come back to you. YouTube chat is broken. Why is the YouTube chat broken? Hold on. What the fuck is going on out here? All right, we back. All right, I just had to refresh. The shit just did some dumb shit. Where's the poll didn't go up? You bitch. Okay, so the poll broke it.
Call from.
Okay, what up, baby?
What's up? What's up, Hotep? What's up, everybody?
What's up? How you feeling, love?
I'm doing good. Just cruising in the Benz on a Saturday.
Hey.
So we were listening to what Dr. Tanei was saying and everything else, and Of course, you know I have to advertise. So everybody, if you want to make sure that you're on the up and up with everything that Dr. Tanei and the Hotep Nation is saying, make sure to stay on your master focus. Make sure to click that link in the description. And when you go to the checkout, you will see the discount in the checkout.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
And just everybody, with everything that you guys were talking about with the science and all that stuff, the thing brings to mind is just everybody's mental health during that time. And when your mental health is not on the up and up, of course, it affects your health as well, too. So that's something to keep in mind, too. If you have to pray, you have to pray. If you have to meditate, even if you have to take a couple of minutes, like a timeout to catch your breath, get your mind back, get your mind focused, anything. People forget about that, and sometimes people are so, I guess, too stubborn because they're so embarrassed to deal with mental health. And I mean, it's an issue for everybody, men, women, and children, and all of that. And people don't understand that. So, you know, we all got to make sure to,
that's a very key part to mental health, right? Is, you know, even a girl said it the other day. It was she was complaining about, it was a video about trans hate. Damn, I should have saved it for the Grift Report. Now I'm trying to figure out who posted it because I might be able to pull it up. Anyway, but the girl goes, most of it is internalized hate. She says it's mostly like me and me. And that's you find, and we always know like the way these people be acting, we know they got a mental fucking illness. And that's fine. But we have to come to terms with this. We got to deal with it. And in what you were saying, the embarrassment of having to admit is a huge part of this. It's a huge part of this. And we've seen it take out people like Robin Williams. And others. And what are those outlets, you know, that people are supposed to be able to go to? And those outlets are supposed to be mostly feminine. Supposed to be feminine outlets, but all the feminine energy is being spent on mental illness. So then who goes to heal? Where do the people go to heal?
Exactly. Exactly. And like I was telling my son, it's like you don't know what people are going through, because of course they're not going to tell you. So you have to realize that, you know, everybody's going through a certain internal battle that they're fighting, whether they push it outwards on you or whether they keep it inwards and destroy themselves. You never know. But all you can do, instead of intruding into like a person's personal situation or anything like that, just make it simple. Let them know, hey, if there's anything going on, just know that I'm here for you if you ever want to talk or anything like that. Because when it comes with male mentality, you know, that's the code is, you know, a lot of men were grown up, you know, you're not supposed to say anything. You know, you're supposed to bury it deep inside, don't do anything, and it'll go away, instead of facing the situation the way that you need to face it. So, and that's something that needs to change too as well. A lot of people are used to holding it internally. And like my dad used to say, it turns into a cancer. And yeah, it can eat you up inside like a cancer, and it could start certain things that are, you know, contradictory to your health and what you're trying to do.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And all they want to do is put you on SSRIs and kind of, you know, numb that area in your brain and say, oh, yeah, that'll take care of it. Like Dr. Tanei said, you know, they medicate the problem. They don't solve it. They just medicate it temporarily so that if there are contraindications with that medicine or something like that. Oh, you're having reactions to that medication? Well, then let's put you on this medication to help those contradictions to the medication that you're on instead of completely taking you off of it. It's like medication after medication after medication instead of finding the root cause of the thing and working on it that way, because the medical industry is like $1 trillion and beyond industry, because they play off of people's fears and they also play off of, you know, how much money they can make with man-made things too as well. And it's not about, rarely is it about the Hippocratic Oath anymore. And that is one of the reasons why I got out of the medical industry myself, is because it was all about self-medicating instead of going to the root cause and finding the issue of what's going on. And also when it comes to people's spirits and energies, that can get up on you too. So that's another thing that you need to be careful and watch out for.
What's that?
When it comes to, like, when people say that a certain person has like vampire energy or something like that, people unknowingly or knowingly can drain on your energy. You can also pick up on other people's energy too, which can ruin your energy. And so that's why you have to always be protected, stay up, pray up, do what you need to do to protect yourself and make sure that all those negative energies are not coming onto you, because a lot of people don't know how to handle those, because we're used to handling things in the physical. A lot of people are not used to handling things in the spiritual and the supernatural. But I gotta get going. I just wanted to call in. But thank you for letting me call in, and Hotep and Build.
Hotep and Bill, appreciate you, Kay. Kay on the check-in. So she brought up the Hippocratic Oath. So that reminded me of, who that comes from, which is obviously Hippocrates. We have it on the screen here. And I'm just looking for something, but it's missing. It's missing. It's missing. And what I'm looking for is his early life. Where's his early life? Who was his teacher? Who was his teacher? Who did he work with? Who's his mama? Who's his daddy? Because right here, Soranus wrote that Hippocrates' father, Heraclides, a physician, okay? So his dad is a doctor, and his mother was Praxitella, daughter of Tanei, two sons of Hippocrates, okay? Draco, one of them was named Draco, Polybus, okay? So according to Galen, a later physician, Polybus was Hippocrates' true successor, okay? Studied other subjects, Democritus. Okay. All right. Also acknowledged by Pythagoras. Where's the other one I want to look at? Ancient Greek medicine. Let's take a look at ancient Greek medicine. See what pops up here. Hold on. I'm about to call the next caller in. So the chat's saying Goldstein overdosed on the red pill. That's what the votes came in over on YouTube. If you haven't voted, hurry up and vote. And I gotta say, I agree, man. He's definitely overdosed. He's close though. He's close. The thing with Alex Jones is a businessman, okay? Alex Jones is a businessman. He's a good friend of mine. He's a really good guy. And he's a businessman. And when you run a studio like he does, basically a TV studio, right? A broadcasting studio. He's got to hold people's attention. especially to do it for how long he has. And, you know, sometimes trolling comes with that. Sometimes entertainment comes with that. Sometimes, you know, conspiracy theories come with that. But it's all part of entertainment. And I always said, you know, Alex Jones is many things, but he's also a great entertainer. He's top tier entertainer. People don't watch Alex. Pyramid 7 said performance art. Yeah, Alex Jones does performance art. So when I'm watching Alex Jones, I'm watching Ye work, you know. I'm watching Kanye work, formerly known as Kanye, and watching Ye work, you know. I'm looking at another person doing performance art because that's what we're all kind of doing, right? You can talk about these things, but you have to hold people's attention, and he's such an artist at that. So, you know, when I see him do the Blair White thing, I'm like, all right, you know, it's grifting season.
Oh, this a real Hotep brother.
You know what I mean? He got to get his social points back. But y'all got to do me one quick favor. We only got 86 likes over here on YouTube. I'm going to refresh. We only got 34. We got 136 people watching on Rumble. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button. For some reason, that jigs the algo. On YouTube, I'd like to hit 100 likes. YouTube, can we get 100 likes? YouTube, let's get to 100 likes. Rumble, let's get to 100 likes. Let's do it. Actually, Rumble, your goal is 70. Let's get to 70 likes over on Rumble. You know what I'm saying? YouTube, we at 91. Let's go. We at 91. Let's go. Let's hit the like button. 94. Let's go. Let's go. 97. I'm loving it. We almost there, YouTube. 3 more likes. We did it. I appreciate you. That was important. Yeah, you got to grift the like button, Dutch. Hotep Dutch is right, man. You got to grift the like button. You know? Sometimes I be forgetting to remind everybody to do that. All right, Rumble, where we at, Rumble? Rumble's at 37. Let me find out you being stingy, Rumble. YouTube just hit that mark so quick. What's up with Rumble? 37? YouTube, they not cooperating over on Rumble. Either that or it's too hard to like material on Rumble. Might be a user experience, a UX issue. EMP said he's too lazy. Damn, Rumble niggas is lazy? Psh, this is insane. Damn. Come on, man. That's how you get to the front page. You got to come in. You got to jam the like button. We at 37. 128 watching on Rumble. 5 people just left the Rumble chat. Damn. JF said it's 40 on Rumble now. All right, so my counter's a little bit behind. We got 40 now. We got to hit 70 on Rumble. I'm going to go back to my studies, and we're going to open up the phone line still. But damn, we did that so quick. Wholesome white woman, go ahead, call in, baby. Gotta get my ladies in here. Hotep wholesome white woman, please come in here, please. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate you. I'm gonna go back into studies here. You know, I like to go down my rabbit holes on the live. So we're looking at Greek medicine. It was a compilation of theories and practices that were constantly expanding through new ideologies and trials. Intertwining the spiritual with the physical.
Call from Wholesome White Woman.
Wholesome white woman, what up, girl?
Oh, hello.
What's up?
Is Goldstein, was his kufi on extra tight, or did he get a new batch of something and not sure? Because the stretch Armstrong that man did to pull a little traumatized boy who literally was a traumatized boy. All it takes is to watch, 5 hours of anything Blair has ever put out, and she talks about it. They talk about it, whatever. So, but to pull a little traumatized boy who wants to be a pretty woman and just live their life, don't want to bother nobody, put some videos up on YouTube, go shoot their guns, support 2A, support good candidates, just wants to be a good person. And we're going to stretch Armstrong it to reptilian? No. No. So Goldstein,
He
Lucy
said
McCookie,
he said she was a
Drink some
demon.
water. Well, okay, so in that part, like, I can kind of understand where that logic comes from, because if you are a traumatized human and trauma was done to you before you were an adult, childhood trauma, right? Well, let our imaginations run as wild as they like to. As an adult, you can either process that trauma, right? Or you can say, it wasn't that bad. I'm all right. It'll be okay. And then if you, I don't know, do the crazy thing of having kids, then you like transmute that trauma that you went through onto those poor little babies, and that is demonic.
Facts.
So whoever fucked up Blair is demonic, yes. But what Blair has done is she named that demon and said, I'm gonna fucking conquer you the best I can. And she could have just self-deleted. Like, we could not have Blair White to talk about at all. That could be an option. Right? Because, like, as a human who had a terrible childhood, I did, like, a hero dose of mushrooms and sat with my 7-year-old self for 6 hours, and, like, we dealt with our shit. And that little girl and I have, like, walked together to be this wholesome white woman that I am today. But without that, like, there's no guarantees that I wouldn't have, I don't know, fucking snapped and beat my kid with a wooden spoon till it broke. There's no guarantees. And that would have made me demonic. Like, that would have been, that's where, like, the demon thing comes into play. Like, I get that. I understand that.
You know what?
Only a fucked up human can bring harm to a small, sweet, innocent baby child.
You know what I enjoy about you is how much I love Southern women or country women.
No.
That's what you remind me of. Hold on, wait. Okay, yeah, we're good. Yeah, you remind me. Are you there?
I'm here. It cut out.
You a country girl, right?
Yeah, a little bit, yes.
Yeah, I love country women. That's the thing I love. That's the thing I love.
My formative years were down in Texas, so like I've shot a hog and a deer, and I've gutted it, and like I'll go.
Oh, you country.
And do, yeah, like none of it bothers me. Like I'm prepared for an EMP to happen and us fucking have to muscle it out.
Right.
Like I know I'll be all right. It's the rest of y'all I worry about. Not so much Hotep Nation because y'all keep it tight, but.
Yeah. Gut and animal. Wow. Yeah. So, like I said, remind me that, fellas, you're looking for a good woman. You got to start looking for these country girls. They don't always exist downtown. Sometimes they're in like the north too, like Idaho and shit like that. The motherfuckers is country, Indiana, all of that shit.
They're all over. And and like the thing that a lot of people fail to realize is that like you could be a little scratch and denty, but
what?
If you like a little scratch and dent, so
okay.
Like when my husband found me, I was like 235 pounds and just like literally on the edge of being a they, homie. My name is Emily, and I cut it down to just the letter M. Like I was so done with humaning as a woman, I was just like, nope,
Wow.
No, thank you. And that's how he found me, and just scrubbed and polished, and was like, this thing will be something one day. And so, like, and I make him sandwiches every day for lunch, and I wash his laundry, and I make the bed, and like I raise the babies, and that's what I do. But you have to, women, if you're listening, you cannot expect a man to be a man if you yourself cannot be a woman. Like you have to really fully get into what it is to be a woman in relationship with a man.
Yeah.
Like you got to submit a little bit. You have to tell your boss bitch in the back of your brain, say, ma'am, he makes more than you do. Let's not take that tone today.
Yeah.
No. Ma'am, you had like 3 days off in a row. Why didn't you clean nothing?
Fellas, remember I was telling you the other day, I played the clip. I told you could turn these liberal chicks into a housewife. You can't turn a hoe into a housewife, but you can turn a liberal into one.
You can't. You can. It could be done. You gotta kind of feel them out, find the right one, and be very honest and concise. Like on date one.
Yeah.
Like no bullshit. Depending on how old you are, some women will respect that. These are my expectations. This is where I would like to see myself in X amount of time. Is that something you feel like you could do with me? And if she has no answer or doesn't seem receptive to it, on to the next one. And all you gotta do is split one dinner. Dutch, modern woman.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Ain't
But
that
anyway,
the truth? I appreciate you for the call.
Goldstein was on a good one today.
Yeah.
Trauma begets more trauma. Heal your shit. Name your demons. Cast them motherfuckers out. And then we can all be fine. Everything will be fine. If you look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I'm a little messed up at X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
What could we do about it?
Yep.
And it just, everybody did that.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Absolutely. You're right. You're absolutely right.
All right. Well, I'm going to get back to trying to have a Saturday.
All right. Enjoy your
carry
weekend,
on
love.
with the support. Thank you. You too.
I hope to have a bill. Yeah, Jonah. Yo, you gotta watch these sneaky motherfuckers, man. You gotta watch these sneaky motherfuckers. Remember we looked up Hippocrates? And I told you I was looking for his early life. They don't even call it his early life, they call it his biography. Right? Let me see. Let me just fact check myself. See? This is some bullshit. They be trying to hide the contributions. Jonah, what's up, bro?
Nada.
That's the shit that makes me look suspicious.
You, but I'm not going to go too much into my opinions on Alex Jones. But how the fuck don't you know that he's already been caught watching training porn on his tablet?
It was called watching training porn on his tablet?
Yeah, he had training
No,
porn.
that
on
was
his...
Photoshop.
No, it was real.
No, that was Photoshop. That was Final Cut Pro.
No,
that wasn't real, man.
Okay. Either way. Now, as far as that, what did I say? I sent you something else that I was hoping tonight was going to be on, but why don't you pull up that PDF that I showed? I sent you, because I got to blow your mind. I actually just recorded on this last night. DARPA has an all-new health division started by Biden with $2.5 billion budget for 1 year.
That's facts.
Yeah.
It's an AI project.
Yeah, I sent you the PDF. Now, even in the PDF, they're literally saying high risk, high consequences. Is one of the things they say there. And they're saying de-risk investment, so it's literally a health version of DARPA, where you, the U.S. taxpayer, pays for all the research, and then they sell it off to a corporation, and you all get fucked.
Yup. I was reading that story yesterday or earlier. I forget what it was, but yeah, I actually neglected to add that to the report. Hold on, I'm gonna bring it up now. This is like 2 days old, I think, though.
Well, I found it myself like a week ago. I might have sent you it, though, but you get so much shit. But I recorded on it last night because I found that through the Council of Councils, which is another whole thing, and then they have BARDA. Like, man, the amount of
found it. Yeah, this was in my email.
Yeah.
This is right in my email. Hold on, I'm gonna put it on the screen right now.
I have a whole thing about medical.
Right here. White House is right here. The White House's AI cyber challenge aims to crowdsource national security solutions. So basically, what they're saying is, they're gonna.
No, I sent you the PDF from them.
Right, but I'm showing them the article that I had. That's why the White House asked DARPA to take the critical topic of AI for cybersecurity. So basically, this is hacking. So they're gonna be doing.
No, this is different. The project that I'm talking about, though, is DARPA H.
Oh, DARPA H. I know, but hold on. We ain't get there yet. I'm trying to help the people catch up, bro. What the fuck, man? Slow the fuck down. Shit. Damn. We gotta, you gotta walk them by hand, yo. All right.
Yeah.
So local and state government levels are held ransom. They say right here at Black Hat USA conference in Las Vegas Wednesday, Biden administration reveals its plan to better defend the nation's critical digital infrastructure. It's launching a DARPA-led challenge competition to build AI systems capable of proactively identifying and fixing software vulnerabilities. Yeah. That's going to be a pretty big initiative.
Yeah, well, they did already open source all their code, eh?
You said what?
DARPA open sources their code, or they used to.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they open source their code, and then basically they want people to work on it, and then if you come up with something good, they're just gonna like lock you in and make you prisoner, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now here's so like I said, I was recorded on the ARPA H last night.
Okay.
And the guy that I recorded with, he's like First Nations or whatever. He's a little bit me that he's got a little bit of knowledge. So he's like, Hapra, that's like the word is backwards. He's like Hapra, like that's something. So I look it up. It's actually Hapara, and if you do that, so that's Harpa backwards, ARPA H backwards. Now if you look it up in Maori, that means dawn, like a new dawn, DAWN. So literally, they're like the dawn of new civilization with their name alone.
They don't hide
it. Yeah. Now this is if the PDF that I sent you, it's fucking crazy. Like it's beyond ridiculous. And it was instituted by Biden, so that just tells you something too.
I got it on the screen right now.
Yeah.
Damn. Oh yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah.
I've seen this.
Yeah, this is crazy. Like, man, they're literally talking about building new microbiology and all this shit too. And they all right say in one of them, yeah, they're the one you're on, I'm behind you, but the one I was there, and they're actually separate from NIH too. So they're just independent, straight to the Secretary of Homeland Security or Health Services. I mean. But when it comes to medical, right? You got to go back all the way to Spanish flu, 1918. Pretty much that can be linked to the vaccines, right? So that's who created those? Rockefeller. And then what happened to him? And what happened to the Rockefeller family in 1911 or whatever, 1911 or 1912? They lost the Supreme Court, so he went out and just bought up all the education. So within 30 years, he even had two generations of people that were strictly taught under his control. And I brought up the General Education Board before, where they had like 55 billion and or something like 55 billion by 1955 that they'd spend with Carnegie.
Yeah.
So again, too, it's all this. Now here's the other thing, right? So Rockefeller owns all these food companies too, right? So they sell you petrochemicals they call food. Then you get poison from the petrochemicals that they put in the food, so they give you petrochemicals, which they call prescriptions, to counterbalance the poisoning they already gave you. Now, when we're talking global warming, and we got to get rid of fossil fuels or whatever, which aren't fossil fuels anyways. There's nothing to do with fossils in those, but how about they don't take them? They don't put them in our food, and they don't put them in our prescriptions.
Exactly.
So again, too, so like. Literally, these people, you can tell they're planned. The guidestones or whatever, they have that limited number too, right? But they needed enough people to actually get us to believe that we are a problem to the planet, so that they can say, "Hey, we need to reduce the problem."
Exactly. Yeah.
But too, no one sees the shit. When I saw that ARPA H right away, I'm like, man, this is worse than Dr. Fauci. This is like 5-10 times worse than Fauci. Because they're not even just staying with the grain of function, right? They're bringing in all the technology to actually monitor you. Well, the monitoring, we don't really have to worry about until 6G.
Yeah.
But they're talking about monitoring you 24/7. Actually, these motherfuckers gave us the food guide where they have the carbohydrates is the number one thing, right? So, like, how the hell are they going to monitor our health?
Exactly. Damn, how did I lose 2 legs? All right, Jonah, thanks, man.
Yeah, have a good one.
How How do we lose likes? We went from 53 to 51 over on Rumble. Rumble, we got to hit 70 likes, man. Come on, show us some love. Hey, yo, look, I'm about to go into some We Was Kang shit. So if you getting your feelings and shit, you can leave now. I'm about to go into some We Was Kang shit, right? So Kay was on the phone, and thank you to Kay for bringing this up. So we're looking here at Greek contributions to medicine, right? So I'm familiar with the Greek contributions to medicine, right? And I wanted to be on my We Was Kang shit. So I said, all right, so surely I'm going to look at, because she mentioned the Hippocratic Oath, right? And they mentioned that here in this article, right? See it right here? Hippocratic Oath. Let's put that on your screen. Hold on. So you can look that up on your own time, right? So this is what she brought up. I know this is connected to Hippocrates. This is the Greek father of medicine, right? They say that right here, somewhere, right? Hold on, I'm gonna show it to you. What's this in Greek on coast? All right, so his father was here. His father was a physician. Here it is right here. Found it. Father of medicine, right? All of this stuff is very key, right? So this is the father of medicine. This is what they call this dude, right? So I want to be on my We Was Kang shit. Let me make sure y'all can see this good. I want to be on my We Was Kang shit. So I said, surely in the biography it's going to tell us that he studied in Egypt, right? So I couldn't find it with my eyes. So I said, well, let me use the computer. I'm going to type in Egypt here. And I went to type in Egypt, and all we get is a text. One reference here by Gibbon Sauer. It's a reference down at the bottom. Text, father of medicine found in remote Egyptian monastery. Right? So this is a source that they bring up. I'll check out the source at some point. We're not going to do that now. I'm like, wow, you didn't even mention it? So I say, all right, so surely if I click on ancient Greek medicine, then you're going to mention Egypt, right? So let's take a look and see what it says here. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. Whoops. I did that navigation wrong. Ancient Greek medicine. So we go to ancient Greek medicine. When we come to ancient Greek medicine, where is it? It was a compilation of theories. Or it says right here, ancient Greek medicine was a compilation of theories and practices that were constantly expanding through new ideologies and trials. This is where it talks about the spiritual aspect, right? I'm trying to find it with my eyes because I just don't want to. So right here, see it mentions right here, father of medicine, right? It comes back and it says it again, right? Father of medicine. They repeat it right here. Hippocrates, father of medicine, right? Blah, 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 blah. Then it says right down here at the bottom, founded. The earliest known Greek medical school opened in Cnidus in 700 BC. Okay? Author of the first anatomical compilation worked at this school. And it was here that the practice of observing patients was established. Despite their known respect for ancient Egyptian medicine, attempts to discern any particular influence on Greek practice at this early time have not been dramatically successful because of the lack of sources and the challenge of understanding ancient medical terminology. It is clear, however, the Greeks imported, right here, that the Greeks imported Egyptian substances into their pharmacopoeia. And the influence became more pronounced after the establishment of a school in Greek medicine in Alexandria. Right? So what happens? We got to go here. Ancient Egyptian. So I'm going to hit where it says right here, ancient Egyptian medicine. It's going to bring me here. When I get to ancient Egyptian medicine, now look what they show me. The medicine of the ancient Egyptians is some of the oldest documented from the beginnings of the civilization in the late 4th millennium BC until Persian invasion in 525 BC. Egyptian medical practice went largely unchanged and included some non-invasive surgery, setting bones, dentistry, and an extensive set of pharmacopoeia. Egyptian medical thought influenced later traditions, including the Greeks. So it says it here. Until the 19th century, the main sources of information about ancient Egyptian medicine writings from later in antiquity. The Greek historian Herodotus visited Egypt around 440 BC and wrote extensively of his observations of their medicinal practice. Pliny the Elder also wrote favorably of them in historical view. Now look right here. Hippocrates, the father of medicine, Herophilus, Aristostratus, and later Galen. Now hold up. Let's go back to Hippocrates real fast because I know Galen was mentioned in here. Now I'm going to use the right here. According to Galen, a later physician, Polybus was Hippocrates' true successor. So Galen was a primary source on information about Hippocrates. Now look what it says about Galen. When you go down here, here it goes, right here. Pliny the Elder also wrote favorably of the historian. Hippocrates, you see it right here, the father of medicine. They say it again. Herophilus, Aristostratus, and Galen. What did it say right here? Studied at the temple of Amenhotep.
Oh, this a real Hotep brother.
I don't gotta go deep into black studies to find this shit. It's in y'all sources. And acknowledge the contribution of ancient Egyptian medicine to Greek medicine. So let me ask you a question, y'all. This the shit that niggas be talking about. Like when we want to talk about critical race theory, this is my critical race theory course. Welcome. Welcome to Intro to Critical Race Theory. Why was this omitted? Why was this omitted? Why didn't they put in his biography where he studied at? That's like mentioning a doctor today, right? Like Dr. Peter McCullough or Dr. Tanei Ricks, and then writing his bio and going, well, what university? And never mention the university he went to. And never mention the university he went to. Why would you not mention the university he went to on his bio page? Let's just double check. Let's type in Amenhotep. It comes up blank. There is no Amenhotep mentioned on Hippocrates' page. If the man went to a university to study, why wouldn't you mention that on his biography? It says right here he studied at the temple of Amenhotep. You're not going to get this in a critical race theory course. They're going to tell you about slavery and all that shit. And I'm like, the sin starts way before slavery. It starts with the slavery of your mind and omitting facts. Why I got to click through? Why do I have to have previous knowledge of this information in order to find this glitch? Put in his bio. And it even says, remember I told you about Galen. Galen was a primary source on information of Hippocrates. He was his colleague. And even his colleagues studied at the same university. Even his colleagues studied with the Hoteps.
Hotep. Oh, this a real Hotep brother.
They both studied with the Hoteps. They came to Africa. They came to the Nupti. They came to the Nubians for information. Is that in the critical race theory course? It's not there. And this ain't even a white thing. This isn't a white thing. This is specifically a Greek thing. This is a Greek thing. This is something that Greece and the Greeks and people of today, that if you try to give them this information, many of them will shun you. Oh, it doesn't matter because our contributions, da 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 da. No, mention the university that your greats went to. they're the ones that will actively push to have some of this stuff pushed to the back. Many of them. So it's not always just a white thing. And Egypt's a part of this too. If you go look at Shaka Atmos's work, Egyptology and Nazism, Egyptology and Nazis. That shit right there was insane. But if he studied at the university, why would you not mention that? You know what I'm saying? And then you always get somebody like Jonah. You know? He see me use Wikipedia all the time. As soon as I say something that's counter narrative to what he want to believe, now it's Wikipedia cannot guarantee the validity of information found here. Now all of a sudden he's hurt. His emotions are hurt. But I do this with Wikipedia on purpose because Wikipedia is one of those sources that we know cannot be trusted. So if it's mentioned here, it can't be trusted for a particular reason, and I'm showing you why it can't be trusted. You're telling me it can't be trusted while I'm telling you why it can't be trusted.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
I'm literally showing you that. Can't be trusted. Can't be trusted. You know what I'm saying? Had to get on my Hotep shit real fast, you know? If the niggas studied that Amenhotep School of Thought, School of Medicine, put it in his bio, man. Just put it in his bio. It's a CIA op. No, it's not a CIA op. It's not a CIA op. I mean, it might have some Charlie Indigo Alpha influences in there, but that's not, they don't give a fuck about that shit. They don't give a fuck about that shit. This shit is exclusively a Greek thing. Cause, and I really don't blame them, because it's very much to do with the value of how people perceive them in history and their tourism. People come to Greece, it's that tourism. You want to believe in these great white gods, you know, these great Greek gods and Plato and all these guys, right? You want to believe in these motherfuckers. But if somebody tell you, yo, like, well, he studied over there, he had a teacher. Who was his teacher? And why is teacher not the father of medicine? So they go around and they tell you, oh, father of medicine, father of medicine, father of medicine. Meanwhile, this nigga went and had a teacher. So how he the father of medicine, he had a teacher? That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. You know? Makes no sense. You would never tell somebody who studied medicine at some school of medicine that they're the father of medicine. You would never say that. Like he studied somewhere. Say he brought some great contributions to the world of medicine, but they showed you right in the article that Egypt was dealing with pharmacopoeia. Egypt was the first big pharma.
Hotep.
Where it say? Hold on. Pharmacology right there. Here, right here. Extensive set of pharmacopoeia. Right here. What's pharmacopoeia? Pharmacopoeia, drug making. Modern technical sense. Containing directions and identification of compound medicines. Right? Medicine, drug, poison. Drugs. They was doing that in Egypt. They was making drugs in Egypt. Absolutely. You better believe it. You know, so all Cousin K mentioned Hippocrates, and I just wanted to go check Wikipedia to see if they was playing games. You know? Jonah, stop, man. Phone lines is closed, man. Ohio Tep, go ahead, man. Ohio Tep, call in, man. Jonah, come on, yo. Don't beat me down, yo. Can't do it. Not today, man. Potions and spirits and shit. Yes. Sister Otis said, yes, the Greeks were studying the mystery schools in Egypt. Facts. It's very well documented. That's what I'm saying. It's very well documented. Africa will never to Rome what is Roman. Africa will never to Rome what is Roman. What the hell is Brian talking about? Brian's another one of the white nationalists that just can't deal with facts. That's all right, man. I understand. You know, that's what happens when you've been lied to your whole life. I can't be mad at you. You've been lied to your whole life. I feel bad for you. Carlton Way said the Greeks referred to black people as gods, too, when they encountered each other. Damn. Damn. Calhoun Papyri, 1800 BC. Hotep Dutch, there you go. There you go. Potions and spirits. I don't know what the hell Brian Nichols talking about, man. That nigga's out of here. But yeah, that DARPA project is gonna be crazy. That DARPA AI project, that's gonna be crazy. Hey, Tari, go ahead, call in, man.
Call from.
Yo,
Yo.
what's up?
What's good, yo?
Y'all been meaning to ask. What you heard about that Grand Canyon deal that happened?
No, what?
They it's like a national monument now.
Oh yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, Joe Biden. I guess they said it was like something Joe Biden did. I don't know if it was just him. They said, the natives wanted to protect it, land conservation, all that. I wanted to get your thoughts on that kind of stuff.
I remember seeing this. Yeah. What's going on with this? This is another one of them things I had scrolled past. What's going on with this?
Cause I'm wondering, like what you think of, the environmental shit. Like, I'm always the whole climate shit and all that, but then also I'm kind of with the the preservation. But the reason sometimes is I'm not against fracking necessarily. They shut down they shut it down, and that was like us producing oil, or gas or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it's kind of a good thing. I'm all for preservation, but at the same time, we got to be realistic about global economics and all that. So,
yeah.
I mean, we got to find some kind of way. But yeah, what you think about?
I'm heavily concerned about pollution in the environment. It's definitely one of my deep concerns, mostly because when I've seen island water, I've seen the Indian Ocean in its purest form, and it's it's that nice blue.
Yeah.
And then you get near the dock, and it's just like it's black, right? So,
right, yeah.
You don't got to be a genius to figure out something's fucking wrong here. However, many of those solutions are right in front of our face, and people choose to ignore them. Like banning plastic straws and plastic bags at the grocery store. To me, I thought was idiotic in comparison to all of the plastic bottles. And how you still have shelves upon shelves upon shelves of all types of products in plastic bottles. Like, I'm about to leave this store with my own bag that I have now, but full of products that are made in plastic.
Right.
And I'm just like, you could have banned plastic bottles. But you could have done it in a way where you only banned chemical plastic products. Because there's good plastic and there's bad plastic. There's some plastic that is biodegradable.
That is true.
And then you have some plastic that is not, and deleterious to the environment. So I'm just wondering, what's going on here. And I understand what's going on. It's the whole DuPont situation. They outlawed hemp, destroy competition, the whole communist shit.
Right, yeah.
So every time somebody says they're doing something about the environment, I go, yeah, you ain't doing shit.
Exactly, right. Because I've been, the thing is, I've been doing this radio gig, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I like to throw in a little news of what I've been doing. But, we got to stay away from the controversial shit, So I try to go for, like, positive news. And when I found a site that's actually called, like, Positive News.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, like, mad lefty. Like, you would think, like, this is, like, the Green Party shit. Like the good news on here is, like, this one, so what I'm looking at right now, Taiwan tackled period poverty. Like, what is, like, basically, they're giving them a bunch of contraceptives and stuff, like, free contraceptives at universities. I'm like, is that positive news? Like, I mean, I guess, like,
that's, yeah.
like, so every time I be skipping stories, like, in this week, like, every time I try to look up any positive news anywhere, it was all, like, news that I didn't consider positive. And I had to skip, like, all of it this week. I'm like, oh, shit. It is. But some of them, I'm like, like, I'm with you. Like you said, I'm with, against pollution and all that. But, like, the story's still not good because it's like, it's not really solving the problem. So I can't even tell people this is like it's a good story because it's not actually something I want people to think, it's something being done. I'm like, no, nothing's being done. It's just like
bullshit.
You said, it's op.
Yeah, it's just a money grab.
Bullshit.
It's a money grab. The thing is, it's an interesting hustle because basically what they do is they set up a corporation. This corporation is a nonprofit corporation, and then they put themselves on salary, and then and then as long as the grift stays open, then you can continue to get paid. Hotep Nation don't have nobody on salary. Not to say we won't ever have somebody on salary, but the likelihood of me being on salary at Hotep Nation is very unlikely. I feel kind of guilty taking a salary, even though it's like in some ways can be ethical. I'd rather hire people and give them a salary than me take a salary. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
But that's what some people do. They set up the nonprofit just so they can take a salary.
I know a lot of people do that. Yeah. I mean, I can't be too mad at it, but it does seem a bit unethical for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about.
All right, man. Appreciate you, yo.
Yeah, man.
Hotep and Bill. Appreciate the call, bro. Damn, what's today? Saturday? Tomorrow's Sunday. I'll tell you what. I may or may not be here tomorrow. If something don't pop off, I'm probably not going to show up. But if something pop off, I'm going to be here bright and early, 2 p.m. tomorrow for the Grift Report. So yeah, let's keep an eye out because it's grifting season, and you better get low. Shit can get real crazy, real quick. My homie, what up, yo? What up, Sin? What up, Trigger? One of my homies watching this shit. So yeah, I might be back tomorrow. I'm about to go to the store and go shopping for HotepCon. See if I can get some clothes or something. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I got a busy week next week, Mike. You're absolutely right. I got a busy week next week. Federal land grab? Yeah, it could be a federal land grab. Jonah said plastic bags aren't even permitted here. Yeah, we can't have those. Yo, we have black people we do collect or did collect, depending on where you live, those plastic bags. Absolutely. We was recycling them shits. It was recycling. Some of them end up as garbage, but those shits got recycled. I could write a song called Skipping Stories. You really could. You really could. I've seen so many stories that I'm just like, Like, people send me everything. That's why I be knowing everything that's going on. Like, somebody mentioned something, and I'll be like, wait, what? Then I look at it, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, I seen that shit. And it just be some shit I read real quick and then scroll past. I can't find any info on the Temple of Amenhotep. Only Amenhotep Mortuary. Was that the university? It was a temple. It was a temple, and temples in those time periods, you know, would be like centers of knowledge as opposed to university. Like, more than one thing went into being a part of a temple. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just like, oh, you just went to study and you went home. Nah, nigga, you was locked in. You was locked in. You was part of the temple. You know, you had to pass trials and tribulations and shit, you know, and you were tested on many different things till you graduated. You know, clothes are cheap in Vegas. I bet they are. But yeah, I'm gonna go see if I can get me a fit or something. Give me something to eat. Y'all be well, man. Y'all be well, yo. All right, and get your master focus, man. Keep your brain tuned up. Hotep and Bill.
Yeah, I can try to get that handled for you. Again, it's only my second day, so if you can give me a second. How I'm supposed to do this? How the hell are we supposed to do this by 5 o'clock?
I have no clue.
Is that possible? Hey, do you have the password to... How'd you finish all your work already?
He's not tapped in. How'd you get that done so quick?
They think they're gonna be able to budget that?
It's money. That's money right there. You understand?
You guys finished your work 6 hours early?
He's not tapped in.